Smells good. What you cooking?
Something very fancy.
Bacon. Breakfast for dinner.
Yes, that will make the third breakfast that we've had today.
That's right. We had breakfast for breakfast. We had breakfast for lunch / brunch.
Yeah.
And I guess we're having breakfast for dinner.
I had shrimp and grits for lunch. So I don't know if that's breakfast, but everybody else did.
Yeah, I guess you kind of had dinner for lunch.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Chris.
I'm Megan.
And we are Why Wait? We're full-time RVers. We called it Why Wait, so we decided why wait until we retired to go on this adventure. The way my job is, it allows us to travel around, and I can fly back to work and fly back home. So we don't move quite as much as everybody else does. We kind of stay stationary for longer periods of time. I'd say what, 4 to 6 months?
Yeah. But that just gives us plenty of time to explore the area that we're in, check out all the touristy things.
Yeah, we like to move,
see what the locals see.
Slower, that way we have time to kind of really dive into each place, check out the restaurants, the parks, the hiking trails, the people. We just feel like if you just move too fast, you just miss too much stuff, and we kind of really like to get a good feel for each place as we go. And logistically, with my work, with flying back to New York every 2 weeks, we have to do a lot of planning, and that kind of really dictates how fast we can travel as well. But right now we are in
James Island County Park in Charleston, South Carolina. Just here for a couple nights, visiting with family, friends, and I guess checking out the old stomping grounds.
we haven't been back in a while. We still have family that lives here. We're just here for the weekend. Overall, we've been to the park before, but we've never camped here since we started doing the full-time thing. It's a great park. Lots to do, lots going on.
Plenty of shade.
Yes, it's good for summertime. Lots of trees, lots of shade, which can be good or bad. We were pretty tight as far as getting in here. It was the last spot available. The satellite, it's not going to happen here. Yeah, we have a satellite on top of the camper.
The site isn't very spacious.
Yeah.
So they're kind of just put in, you know, where they fit in.
It's an older park, and you can tell it was designed that way. The Wi-Fi, it's not the kind of place you're going to stream at. In fact, I don't know if I've even been able to open a web page with the Wi-Fi here.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more of a campground feel, not so much RV resort. It's a county park, and the price, it's a little expensive. We paid, I believe, $62 a night. That is full hookups with sewer, water, and electric. It's not outrageous, but usually when we're just kind of doing overnighters or 2 nights, we prefer it to be a little bit cheaper, I guess, huh?
Yeah, if you're just going to spend an overnighter or a couple nights. The sites are pretty level, but
no concrete, all sand and rock.
Typical South Carolina sand.
Yeah, I read it can get pretty muddy, and drainage can be kind of bad in rainy weather. So
because you're almost in the swamp.
Yeah. But you do get your money's worth as far as stuff going on. The amazing playgrounds, big water park, a separate splash zone. Yeah. It looks like you can rent paddle boats, you can rent kayaks. They have a outdoor zone with a whole
climbing walls, different I guess experience levels for climbing walls.
Yeah, one of them's massive. It's like 50 feet, and there's what do they call it? Adventure?
A ropes course.
Ropes course, like an outdoor challenge course.
Yeah.
That wasn't open today. I think that was due
that hasn't
to
been
the
opened,
pandemic.
Yeah.
And that stuff going on. But we did walk around and look at it. It looked pretty neat. Lots of bike riding trails. Lots of walking trails. A nice lake. We did not go to the dog park because... Wait for the truck to go by.
Sounds of a campground.
Yeah. Okay. We didn't go to the dog park because, well...
Our dogs are not exactly mid for dog parks.
We can only take our dogs to the dog park when nobody else is around, like on a Tuesday. But it was a very active dog park, a very large dog park, and it's actually right on the water to where...
Yeah, they have beaches in the part of the dog park that your dogs can go in the water.
Yeah, it looked pretty neat. So.
Yeah, it's a huge dog park. Right on the lake that you can sell, remote control sailboats and
all kind of stuff going on. It's a very busy park. It's just not the campground aspect of it. People just come here just for...
It's a county park.
Yeah.
It has things
birthday parties and local events
yeah.
and just family outings. So there's so much more to it than just a campground. In fact, the campground itself isn't even that big. We got the last site that was even available. I definitely recommend booking in advance for this place. It does tend to fill up quick, especially... I think during the holiday season, they have what's called the James Island Festival of Lights. And it's actually one of the most impressive Christmas light setups you can find. Light display. You drive.
It's drive-through.
Yeah, you drive through the whole thing. I think they leave it up year-round.
And there's lights everywhere.
Yeah.
They have a place where you can stop and you can have hot cocoa. Let the kids get out and run around and
I even remember
explore.
One year they set up a ice skating rink. As far as location goes, there's not a lot of campgrounds in or near Charleston, South Carolina, and I don't know why. It seems like kind of a shame. Most of them are further out.
This one is right in the middle of beaches.
Yeah.
The
Folly
downtown Charleston, which is where everybody wants to go. Folly Beach. Well, you're on an island. You're on James Island. Always going to be traffic, no matter what day of the week. What time of year, there's always traffic every time we've been down here just living here.
And if you have a big rig like we do, we're about 40 feet long, 65 feet total with the truck. James Island is an old part of town. The streets are old. It's very narrow. It has a lot of trees that really come over the road. It can be a little intimidating. Everything seems to fit underneath it okay, but
you can plan your route for, you know, you're going to be in a downtown area. And there are some sharp turns, so really pay attention to the route you're going to take.
I would Google map it
here
first, do some Google Street Views, really get a view of which way you're going to go, because there are some tight turns getting in here to the park.
You typically use the...
I use a few different apps to set my routes and things like that. I have something called Copilot, which I use for my most of our RV trips, and I could put a link to that app down below. And I also usually just go right to Google Street View when I get to areas I'm not too sure about, tight cities and tight turns like that, to really just get a good look at what I'm actually, going to be dealing with before we get in someplace.
Didn't have any problems coming in yesterday on a Saturday, which, there's going to be a lot of people out. Didn't have any problems, just had to be, there's only like, what, 2 turns that we kind of really had to watch.
Yeah, well, you got to kind of
the way that we came.
You got to go extra wide into the other people's lane just to make the right turn. It's really tight and sharp, but it can be done, and once you get in the park, it's pretty easy to maneuver. We're in site, I was gonna say, we're in site 118, and it's probably one of actually the smaller sites, but it was actually really easy to back into. We were able to pull in and just one shot straight back into it, which was nice.
I think that's the first time that's happened.
Yeah, it was a nice easy back end. So yeah, we didn't mind that.
Giving each other high fives, and we did it, first shot.
High five!
And like we said, it's only 10 minutes from downtown Charleston. They even offer shuttle service if you don't want to drive or take your dually truck down in Charleston, which I wouldn't recommend downtown Charleston with a dually either. I've lived there for a long time. It's a lot of cobblestone streets. We can do it.
But you're going to have a hard time.
The parking garages are tight. Everything's tight. It's crowded. Yeah. If you're not familiar with the city, like we are from being here for so long, I would recommend paying. I think it's $10 per person for the shuttle, and they run a few different times. I think it's a great way to get into the town and do all the stuff that it has to offer. That would be a whole nother video for another day. The city of Charleston and things that are going on. Tomorrow we're heading back down to Texas for the winter, down to Rockport, Texas. We're gonna hit some. Visit some family up in Florida on the way down there, but first, before we get down to Rockport, Texas, we have to stop in Livingston, Texas.
We're going to stop at the Escapees Campground, and which I think is called Rainbow's End.
Rainbow's End, yeah.
And that is where we set up everything for our domicile. We registered the vehicles, inspections, got driver's licenses, everything.
We did it one day. We did it last year.
It was half a day.
Half a day to
start to finish. We were done.
Switch everything over to Texas from our plates and our driver's license, insurance, registration. I mean, we checked into Rainbow's Inn Campground. They have the main office right there, and we'll talk about more of that in the next video. That's what we're going to dive into, and we can walk you through the cost and why we chose Texas maybe versus some other states and things like that. But so that's where we're headed next. We also have to get down there so we can vote, since that is now
take advantage of the
county
early voting times, and since we're going through there anyway, we want to make sure we vote. And I think that's about it.
Oh, good morning. So, coming morning coffee here. We woke up a little bit late, so usually I try to get up and have a little quiet time before we start packing things up and hit the road, but slept in a little bit later than usual, so gonna drink my coffee and empty these tanks, pack things up, and hit the road. We've been at James Island County Park, and we're gonna be making our way down to Florida today to visit my uncle. About 7-hour drive, maybe 330 miles. That's about as long as we usually like to do a trip in one day. So, sipping my coffee for a few minutes, and let's go do this. All right. Emptying the blank tanks here at James Island County Park. and I'm now disconnecting my sewer hose. I thought I'd just go ahead and show you guys the hookup they have here. It's an older park, and they don't have the threaded sewer hose connection. So you need to carry around one of those, I believe what they call a donut. It's a little rubber piece you kind of wedge in there, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Not the best system. Sometimes when you open your tanks, and if you have a lot of pressure and if it's not wedged in there too good, it can kind of wiggle itself loose, and you almost kind of have to come over and hold your hand down your hose to make sure it doesn't pop loose. But let me show you what I'm talking about here. Here you can see just a empty concrete hole with no threading. This just kind of pops up by your foot. And I have this connection here, and it's just called it's just a rubber piece, rubber donut that you use to kind of wedge down in there, and then your pipe goes down into it. It gets the job done, but not the best. I guess that's about it. Remember to like the video, hit subscribe, and always remember, why wait?
Bye.
Bring the donuts.
What donuts?
They're gone?
Yeah.
Crap.
We finished those on the way up here.
I didn't eat anything. Okay, follow the blue.
There's some more over here, so I know we gotta go this way.
I'll see you soon. Yeah. We are at, what are we?
Three Little Birds Cafe in Charleston, South Carolina. What do we got here?
Of course, the shrimp and grits.
Gotta get shrimp and grits.
What's he had?
What you got, buddy?
An omelet with some fruit.
And the hot sauce.
And we can't,
of course, the hot sauce.
we can't forget the hot sauce. And I forgot what I have, but it looks good. Oh, chicken avocado burrito. Okay.